Hello there! Welcome to Kylie Chameleon Beauty channel. Tonight I'm going to be doing a tutorial back when I used to do my makeup, my eye makeup really, back in 2016, because I hear there's a trend right now and they say that 2016 makeup looks are back. Yes! So I'm going to be using one palette and it's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance, and this was the original. This is the original palette, and it's been a while since I used it, but hey, I love this palette, and I'm going to, since the 2016 trend is back, I love it. It has never left me. So yes, if you like this look, please keep on watching. I just want to let y'all know that I prime my lids. I did everything like the powder and all that stuff. And I also have foundation on my face and blush, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to create an eye look. So let's get started with this Modern Renaissance palette. So I will be using Burnt Orange as my transition shade. And I remember that back then. I mean, Burnt Orange, as you can tell, I mean, I used the heck out of it, but it looks brand new. But hey, I use this a lot. And I also use, what else did I use? Honestly, I used a whole bunch of Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes back then, and I still do now. In fact, I've always loved Anastasia, and as well as Natasha. And Natasha didn't know, so I'm gonna like put this as a transition. And I'm gonna create like the way I did back then. I mean, I know cut crease was like a thing back then. I mean, it still is, honestly. I don't think it ever has left. But I know the clean girl look was like really in last year, but I don't know. I'm kind of glad it's gone, to be honest with you. Cause I mean, I love the glam look. I love all things glam. So I am focusing on my crease and I'm blending it up a little bit close to my eyebrow. I am going to leave a little space so that way I can use a highlight over here. But right now I'm just focusing on my crease and a little bit over closer to my eyebrow. You need to do this if you are actually, if you have hooded lids, this is perfect. But anyone can, like, just kind of get real close right there. You want to stop right there just a little bit. Okay. Now, the second step, I used Venetian red as the on my outer corner. So I'm going to go with Venetian red, and it is this shade right here. So I'm going to go and use my favorite tool. And actually back then I used to use tape, and I still use tape sometimes, but it's just a lot easier to use this Amazon little tool that I bought from Amazon. So I'm going to use a flat brush, and I'm going to use this Venetian red on my corners. Oh, and by the way, I just want to make sure, like, I want to blend this out a little bit. All right, so just to make sure that everything looks good. Okay, so Venetian red. Oh my gosh, I remember how pigmented this stuff, this Venetian red shadow was. Oh yeah. I remember back in the day, I pretty much used this palette. Everyone used this palette. I'm actually still surprised that there's no, what do you call that? I haven't hit the pan, but I'm surprised I didn't. A lot of people, okay. Anastasia did create like some kind of I think it's a smaller version of this palette this year, and as well as the Sultry palette, but I don't have them because I actually have both of those shadows. In fact, I kind of want to do the sultry look, the sultry, I want to use that sultry eye palette because it's like my favorite. I might actually use the sultry palette soon, like maybe in the next few tutorials. I was thinking about like doing the What's Up Beauty Geodes palette, but I felt like it would be fun to do just a fun night to reminisce on 2016. 2016. Okay, so right now I'm putting it like I'm on both corners. So I'm doing the outer corner and inner corner. So I'm just gonna like create this. You want to stick to like don't go past your crease. You just want to like use the. I'm sorry. You need to. You would. It's best to get like maybe a little bit past the crease, but not really. You just stick to where your crease is. Okay, because we're gonna do something after this. So I'm sticking to a little bit over the crease, just a tad bit, not too much, because I will be blending these out again with the transition. I'm gonna go back to my transition shade after this. Okay. Oh gosh, by the way, my cat Linus is, if you can hear him, he is right by the door. It's funny how like he's not even all day. I was off all day today. He didn't even care about this room, but as soon as I closed the door, he just wants to come in. He didn't even, like I said, he didn't even care about my camera room. All right, so I did the Venetian red on both corners. So what I'm going to do next is I will go and use this Cypress Umber, this dark brown shade, and I'm going to put this on top of the Venetian red just to darken things up a little bit. And I'm going to use the same eyeshadow brush, the flat one. And I'm just going to go over the Venetian red just to darken it up a little bit. Now, I still do this technique, but I do it a little bit different. Because back then, okay, so the only thing, a lot of things were different back then. Like, I would bake under my eyes using, like, the Laura Mercier powder, the loose powder. But I can't do it anymore because I've gotten older and I just don't bake. And I know there's still people who still bake there under their eyes and whatnot, but I think that's too drying. All right, so I focused on both corners. And it looks kind of silly right now, but it's going to look good. And at the end, it's going to look different. All right, so I'm going to blend just a little bit. I'm going to blend both corners just so that everything looks smooth and no harsh lines. And I'm going to go back to my crease and use the burnt orange again. And of course I'm going to use this again. I use this in every tutorial. And I'm just going to meet these shades with the burnt orange. All right. And this time, right after this, I will use the good old Shape Tape, Tarte Shape Tape. Now, this was so, oh my God, popular back then. I don't really use it that much anymore, but I just thought, I bought this, and I'm gonna use this sometimes as my, primer, but I don't really use it that much. I won't be using it that much, I'm sorry. It's all right. And of course, I'm going to use this brush, the Sigma Cut Crease, and I will be using this. And alright, so as you can tell, I'm going to yeah, this was like this was the most popular thing, and I feel like people are still doing this, still using this technique, as well as like still using this concealer as a you know, as a primer. I mean, I like it, but I prefer other primers. I kind of, okay, the only reason why I don't use it is because it's there are some shadows that I prefer not to use with this concealer, but I mean, it's alright. I like it. Now, if you have like dark colors, I mean, if your eyelids are like dark, this is actually a really good primer to use. Alright, so right after this thing, I'm going to use Vernier as the star. I'm going to use this as the star shade, as the middle shade, Vernier. So, wow, yeah, it's just as beautiful as it was back then. Yep, I'm going to use this as my mid shade. Wow, 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 it is still beautiful till this day. Gosh, I remember the first time I did this, I didn't really like it the first time, but then after that, I started to like love it. Alright, so I will go back and use Love Letter again as Love Letter. I'm sorry, I haven't used this Love Letter. Okay, I'm going to use Love Letter as a the shade that meets the mid-lid shade. Okay, I'm sorry. It's the color that meets the mid-lid shade and outer corner. So this is what I'm about to do. I'm going to use the original brush that it came with. I actually love this brush. This is a really neat brush. And sometimes I still use it on certain occasions. So what I'll do is I'm going to use this Love Letter as like a color that marries in between the mid shade as well as the outer corner shade. So you want to do that so that it doesn't look, you know, silly. Right now it looks kind of weird. So anytime you do a cut crease, even like now when you do a cut crease, you always want to like add a shade in between your inner corners and as well as your outer corners or outer V. Because otherwise it's just going to look too much. Like it's going to look really strange and people are going to are going to think there's something wrong with your eyeshadows. You don't want that. So again, this is what I used to do, and I actually still do it now. I mean, it's still, till this day, it's still, I mean, I don't really do too much of cut crease, but this was like how it all started, you know? This is how all, like, this was so popular back then. And I know that everyone has their very own techniques, but this is how I did that. And like, I'm sorry, this is how I did it back then. It's how I learned how to do it. And so yes, this is amazing. Gosh, this palette is still beautiful. So after the Love Letter, I will use the, okay. I'm going to go back to the Cypress Umber and go back to the inner corners as well as the outer corners. And I'm going to use this brush and just to darken it up a little bit. And also, just to create that cut crease look, I'm going to go back and I'm going to use the same brush, except I'm going to clean it. I'm going to go back to Burnt Orange and just go back on my crease. And I'm going to do a next step after this. I'm just going to, so that I can create this deeper cut crease look. So this is the very important step because this is what I did back then, and I might just go back and do it again. So I'm gonna use a very, very fine detailed brush, like almost like a line. You can use a liner brush, and I'm gonna dip this brush into, again, the Cypress Umber, and this is how you create a deeper cut crease. So what you do is you go and just go back and forth like this, just like this. It creates like a deep line. It almost creates this really nice deep cut crease look. It looks very clean. And this is how I did my cut crease back then. I know some people, they use all kinds of interesting things. Like I've seen TikTok videos of where they use, what do you call it? Those lash curlers. They use lash curlers, and I'm going to use another fine detailed brush just to blend it in. Just to blend, to make sure that there's no harsh lines. But this is how I did my cut crease back then. But you know what, guys? I think I'm going to use this technique back again. I like this. This is pretty cool. I honestly don't know why I changed my steps, because I find this to be kind of easy. I mean, if you're starting to do a cut crease, I highly recommend doing maybe something like this. Yeah. You know what? 2016 was a good year. Honestly, it was. To me, it was. And yeah, this is amazing. I like this. Yep. It's funny how, like, I said, oh yeah, I used to do my look differently and now, but I kind of want to go back to this. I'm going to go back to this step. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do my eyeliner as well as my lashes, and I will be right back. All right, guys, I am back. I did my lashes and I did a little bit of my eyeliner and stuff like that, but I'm going to do a few more things to my eyes. So back then, on my lower lash lid, I used to only use like one shade, and I'm going to see what it looks like with that one shade. But anyway, I'm going to go back and use Love Letter on my bottom lid, my bottom lash, lower lash. Okay, see what it looks like. Because if I don't like the way it looks today, I'm going to have to change it. Because, I mean, I'm really picky about my lower lash. I did put a little bit of black eyeliner. I normally don't use black eyeliner, but I feel like it would look well. I mean, it just goes well with this. That's how I used to do it back then too. I actually did use black eyeliner back then. So I'm trying to almost recreate what I used to do, but I did honestly just use one shade. But I feel like I need to do a little bit more than that. I do like this. It does look good, but it's missing something. So I guess, yeah, I did a great job back then, but I think that I need to do a little bit more. I'm going to use Cypress Umber, so this would be maybe a little bit different. Okay, just a little bit. I'm going to use it like halfway and just smoke it out. Right there, just smoking it out. Okay. There we go. Now, yes, that looks good. Now I'm going to go back to the Love Letter and just make sure everything looks good. And then after that, I will be using Vernier as a highlight as well as my inner corner shade. So I'm going to use this right here as my highlight. And this, I remember doing this back then and it looked really nice. All right, so that looks really good. And then I'm going to use it as my inner corner shade. Okay. I like it. I think I am going to recreate this look again when I go back to work. I love it. All right. So I'm going to put a little bit of mascara. And I don't really put mascara on my, where I put my lashes, because I feel like if I do, it just looks too much. I mean, sometimes I do. Well, actually, you know what? Why not? Just put that, just put a little bit, but not too much. I find it like just really no point of putting it, you know, on my lashes, but I don't know. Some people like to do that. So while I'm doing that, while I'm letting it dry, I'm going to get my lash comb and just separate my bottom lashes, just to, because I don't like the way they look right now. I do not like the way spider lashes look. It just looks so fugly. All right, there we go. Yes. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray myself with this, with the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, and also my fan that my mom gave me back then. All right, here we go. Woo! Woo, Lord. All right. Stuff is like really great, but dang, man, it is like intense. Whew. All right, so there we go. Now I will be doing my I'm gonna recreate a look, but it's funny. This is so hilarious, y'all. I use the heck out of MAC lipsticks as well as their lip liners. And you know what's funny? I used Whirl back then too, and I've been using Whirl just about almost every tutorial. It's just my favorite shade. I love this lip liner. So I have some lip balm. I'm gonna do something, maybe create 2 lip colors, because I combined 2 lip colors, and I have the minis. It's Velvet Teddy and Twig. I'm gonna combine those. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, first I'm gonna line my lips, and I'm gonna do the little X thing, like I mean, you don't have to do the X, but I feel like if you're a beginner, it's good to do. And some people go over their lip lines, and that's okay. But my lips are naturally full, so I'm just gonna go right here where my lip lines are and just not go over. It's almost like this Twig is almost like the color of my lips. And which, by the way, interesting, but when I was just telling someone a couple days ago, how do you find your perfect nude? Well, okay, to find your perfect nude, this is gonna be interesting. You look at the inside of your lip. That is your perfect nude. I know, it's weird, but it works. All right, so I might do, I might do Twig. I don't know. I'm gonna see what they look like, because I used both of these colors back then. Okay, yeah, I used to combine these, so why not? Okay, I'm gonna start with Twig first, and then we'll see what it looks like. Twig is like my go-to. I also use Modesty. Till this day, I still use Modesty because it's my perfect nude. If I wanna go a little bit darker, I use I think it was Creme in Your Coffee. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, I love till this day, I still love MAC lipsticks. All right. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna try just a little bit of Velvet Teddy. I love it. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so I am going to put my favorite lip gloss, and it's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Toffee Rose. Yes, this is actually my favorite shade currently. But I don't know if this lip gloss was made back then, but if it did, I would probably use the heck out of it. But honestly, back then I used the NARS Turkish Delight. It's like a pink shade. I used it on everything. I sometimes used it by itself. But I'm just going to put this as a topper. Oh, yes. Yes! This looks good. I love it. I love it. So, that completes the look, guys. Yes. If you like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Bye, guys.